Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 25. And welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am your host, Scotty827, joined with me by, joined by my joined me. Welcome back, everybody, to the Clash of Clans podcast. I am one of your hosts, Scotty827, damn it.
You need to include all of this.
Yeah,
All of this.
with.
So you have several
joined
prepositions. You have with, you have joined. I was about to say about. Did you ever memorize the preposition list in elementary school?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
A border, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, for, being, prime, between, beyond, by, down, during, except for, from, in, inside, to, light, near, of, off, on, over, pass, through. Now, all the prepositions.
I didn't know you spoke French.
It's so funny. I had to memorize all the prepositions in elementary school, and I still have them memorized. It's like states: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia. How long?
See, we did that as a
all
song.
of them. Yeah. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado,
Nope. Ours were
Connecticut.
different. Alabama and Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. That was the... Anyways, that's how it's done in the States, everybody.
We also did the presidents. So we had Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes.
See, the only thing about the way that they taught that is that every time that there's like a quiz question or like a trivia thing, I have to sing that song in my head to get there, and then it's stuck there for the next week. So, thank you, Mrs. Spurley.
Spurley. It's always like, who's we all know who the 16th president of the United States? That was Lincoln, right? But they're like, the test is, who is the
you learn something new every
president of the United States? You're like, oh crap, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Lincoln, Tyler was the 17th president. I don't even know Tyler's first name. Tyler, somebody Tyler.
Yeah, somebody who came after the guy who came after him.
The guy after Abraham Lincoln. That's who was president.
Well, anyway, we're back in the studio. We're joined with oh my Lord, I'm joined by Tip Dog, the fabulous, the bold, the beautiful,
the sexy
Tip Dog 20.
We're 2 episodes from the big one.
And you know what? By that time, I'll probably get the intro down too.
I hope not, because it's minor comedic humor every time we start. It's a good way to get started.
It's like a weird...
It's a good laugh.
Something happens to me. So what's been happening? It's been a crazy week.
It was a crazy busy week.
Yeah, in life or in Clash?
Both, I guess, a little bit. In life, like I was smashed this week. I've had some really tough assignments. So in my line of work, like you have to be put in some really tough situations. And so recently I've been dealing with a couple who are older, and one of them is not going to be here much longer. And so I've been going through that with them. And I've known them for probably 15, 20 years. So it's been a lot. I mean, it's been a lot of hours spent. But at the same time, like it's been a lot emotionally as well to try to deal with something like that.
Well, they're lucky to have you. How's your DE farming going?
Pretty good. Like I've kept all of my heroes down for the most part. Of course, my heroes are finished on my main Tip Dog 20, but on Tal Shiar, like I've kept them down like pretty much the whole time. And my king is at 69, queen is at 75, warden is at 62, and my grand champion is at 35. So not too much longer. I mean, max is what, 95, 95, 70, 45. So, I mean, I'm going to be real close, and I'm actually going to be pushing a button on my Town Hall 15 here soon. Ooh. So going to be a Town Hall 16 in 11 months. Like that's pretty darn crazy. Be able to do that, and I'm pretty far along as well.
Oh, you mean you did it in 6? Okay, because you're like, pretty soon I'm going to be at 16 in 11 months. I'm like, oh, you're gonna go. You're pushing the button next
No, it's
May.
been 11 months.
Okay.
So I started this journey in like the first week of September. It was it Labor Day weekend? Labor Day weekend is the first week in September, right?
I'd have to
Washington,
check.
Adams,
I'd
Jefferson,
have to
Madison,
consult.
Montgomery.
I go with
was
the flow.
was there a song for federal holidays?
Oh God.
Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, then there's Fool's Day and Memorial Day, 4th
Easter.
of July. We'll make one up on the Clash of Clans podcast. So anyway,
Yeah.
first week of September is when I started. So coming up, it'd be 11 months, and then first week of September will be a year with this account.
Holy shit.
So I'm excited. I honestly, like, all of my core defenses are max or close to it. So all I got to do once I get to Town Hall 16, my heroes, I mean, they're going to be close to max. So I just got to finish on my point defenses. Oh, and then I have to do my mines and pumps. But
Oh yeah.
those will be last.
The fun stuff, you mean?
Yeah, the useless and unnecessary buildings on the base.
Well, that's probably why I can't talk very well this morning, is because I'm exhausted from DE farming. Holy, I never thought I would say this, but
You've kept all your heroes down?
it's as much as I possibly can, and I put another level or two on them with books of heroes.
That's crazy. There is
And
a book of heroes for $2 in the shop right now.
I know I bought it.
I've thought about it, but this account I've not been buying a lot of stuff, so I don't know. We'll see.
I bought it, and I'm gonna try to get through this month. No, I honestly,
A couple gray hairs on your head.
yeah, there's been a couple. So there's been a couple deals in the shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see him come through. I have to. Oh, and I hammered. Well, no, that one's fine because I had hammered that. But now I have like, at one point I have 3 Book of Heroes stacked because like really cheap deals came through,
Mm-hmm.
and then I still have 2, and I had 2 on my rewards.
Right.
So I got them. I got one down. So I had 2 and a 2, and then I bought another one when I saw that 199 deal, and I'm like, I have to farm up 4 more levels of heroes before the end of the month, or at
You're
least
doing it right.
3, because if I don't, because I have to get that book of hero out of the rewards. I can't let
Oh,
it
right.
be stacked. So it's like I've got 2 sitting there, and I've got 2, or I had 3 sitting there just waiting. So I'm sitting there going, "Oh my god, this is gonna be
Oh, so you have one left on the rewards track then?
2."
Oh, from the gold pass. Yeah, you don't want those to go to waste.
Yeah. So I've gotta like
3 heroes, 3 hero levels in 10 days? That's insane. Like, that's gonna be amazing. You can do it.
4 hero levels.
4
I
hero
mean, I guess
levels.
I can keep that one book at the
Right.
end. It
Oh,
and
right, 4 hero levels. Yeah, you're right.
so I'm gonna have, but I've done a lot of work on, like, I've added an extra warden level and hammered an extra queen level, so my warden, okay, get this, after, well, probably about 3 months now, or almost 4 months, my warden is at 59,
That is
and
crazy.
I remember the day I broke the news to you that he was only at 32.
Once he reaches 59 and a half, he can start taking money out of his IRA.
Yep, that's right. He's gonna hit retirement. My king is going to 74.
That's crazy.
My RC will go to 30.
Mhm.
Um, as soon as I get enough DE, and my queen is going to 80.
That's amazing. Like, you've accomplished so much just in the 5 or 6 months that we've been doing this.
And I can't feel my hands.
Your brain is worn out. It's
Yeah,
mush.
I've been tapping. I've worn out this iPad. So i- it's been awesome to get it. I am exhausted. I mean, I thought like DE was out there, but now it's been so dry that it takes me like 10 minutes to find a good hit.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Where are you farming at? What league?
Titan one.
Mm. So
Because
that's where all the tryhards, the sweaty players go in order to get the extra ores. if you're so it depends on your goals. So if you're wanting more ore to upgrade equipment in your lab, then stay in Titans 1. If you're wanting to get easier bases to find loot or easier time finding loot, then I would drop down to probably Crystal 3 or Master 1. If you're wanting to prioritize loot. So it just depends on your goals.
Well, I could have used that advice 20 days ago.
Oops, my bad.
No, no, I just like staying in Titan 1 for the equipment, but
Mhm.
I found it's like usually, right? Usually what I can do is uh raise trophy levels and then hit those outside or collectors on the way down.
Yeah, so I'm in Titans 3, and I've found it much more difficult to find bases that I can farm because I've been using sneaky goblins. And
Oh,
it's so in Crystal 3 Masters 1, I would say it's 1 out of every 3 or 4 bases of next. In Titans 3, which is where I am now because I'm slowly working my way up to Legend League, I mean, it's 1 out of 10 to 1 out of every 15
yeah.
bases. Like, it's just taking everything is drained. Like,
Yep.
I come across bases that are like 100,000 gold, 100,000 elixir, and 567 dark, and it's just base after base after base that's like that.
Yep.
Crazy.
So I'll just basically, if it's 8,000 DE or more, then I'm like, okay, I'll take it and just and hit it. But if I found like, and maybe I don't know how it is at that level, but I found like so many people are trying to push legends
Mhm.
that like if I'm at the right spot in trophy and I can basically take one DE storage, win one battle, stay there. You know what I mean? And or if I do a boost, like a training boost, which I haven't, I've done like 2 or 3 training boosts, but
Mhm.
it might as well not because it takes so long to find the base that like you get like 3 or 4 attacks out of it.
Remember
Um
in the older days when they didn't have training potions and you could boost your barracks? Like, you could boost your barracks,
oh
and we
yeah.
wouldn't boost our spell factory because, we tried farming without spells because spells cost elixir.
Yeah.
And so you could also boost each individual barracks. So there were 4 barracks back then rather than just 1. And so you could boost 1 barracks, 2 well, no, now that I'm thinking about it, I think you had to boost all 4 barracks at the same time. But I think you could boost barracks separately from, like, the spell,
Yeah.
spell not spell tower, the spell
Factory.
factory. And so you would get in, and back then you could only boost for 2 hours. Like, it wasn't just for an hour. If you're gonna boost, I think it was 20 gems if I remember right, to
I
boost,
can't
and you had to
remember.
boost for 2 hours minimum. Because I used to do boosted sessions back when I was, Town Hall 9.
Yeah, so now I'll put one on there to try to do it, and I'm going through, but it reminds me of that though, like of farming in the old days.
Mhm.
Of so if you're new to Clash and you don't know what it was like in the old days, and you're out there scrambling for Dark Elixir,
It's just a little taste.
just a little taste because it would probably about 4 times as
It's
much
difficult. Yep.
because I mean it would take an entire week of good farming to do one level on a
Yep.
200,000 in DE in a week would be pretty
Mm.
insane.
Insane.
Yeah, that's like,
Yes.
what did you do all week?
So I know that you accidentally signed up for Legends, I think it was 2 weeks ago because you texted me like, "I accidentally signed
Oh
up for Legends.
yeah.
Crap, how do I get out?"
Yeah.
So you can do fake Legends. Have you heard of fake Legends?
No.
So fake legends is when you go past 5,000 trophies, they give you the option to sign up, but you don't sign up for Legend League. And you either A, just wait for your trophies to drop below 5,000. That way you can start attacking again.
Scared me.
Or
I saw that.
B, you go to your revenge list and you revenge somebody and just drop a hero and immediately end. That way it drops you below 5,000 trophies. And then at that point, you have a Legends badge So you're going to get all of the loot that you get whenever you do your daily bonus, and you're going to get the level of ore that they get in Legend League, but you just have to keep your trophy count between that 4,900 and 4,999, and you have a Legends badge, but you're not actually signed up for Legend League. They call that fake Legends.
Huh. That's 100 trophies is too
Thin of a margin.
and too thin of a margin. Because I've even with like a 200 or 300, there's been times where I just haven't thought about it and hit, and I'm gotten really close to legend again, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to get stuck in that. I want to go up in and do legends at one point, but I don't know. And that was one thing I meant to put on my list to ask you about. Can you farm legends?
In Legend League, you only get 8 attacks per day, and that is it. Like, you cannot do
Yeah.
any more than 8. So
So when people are doing Legend League and thinking about this because of like Ghost Knight's interview, our talks that Legend League trophies and probably Legend League trophies in the count, right? Like on your profile,
mhm.
um, like how important is getting Legend League trophies to the game. Um, and so then also with like, can you get enough loot while doing it to upgrade?
So Legend League trophies are it's just to show off, right? It's just, "Look at me, I have Legend League trophies." There's no benefit in game. The real benefit from being in Legend League is the bonus that you get. Like, I forget, it's like, I forget. It's like 1.2 million of each, gold and elixir, and it's like, I can't remember
Ooh,
how much DE. Like, the daily bonus is massive in Legend League, which is why the fake Legends badge is such a genius idea, because you can still get that legend bonus, but then also, as long as you watch your trophy count, you can stay out of Legend League and you can farm as much as you want between 4,900 and 4,999 trophies. You just have to drop and gain, drop and gain, drop and gain, drop and gain. Like, it's a second job trying to watch your trophy count, but the bonus is really where it's worth it. And then also with the ores, like, your ore bonus jumps up too. Not a lot, but it jumps up between Titans 1 and Legends. So that's the only reason that I would think, if you're wanting to farm, that's the only reason that you would want to have a Legend League badge. But just being in Legends, it's purely practice, basically. So just think of it as 8 FCs per day that you get to partake in.
yeah, that's where that's I think at certain points of the year with work, like that would be completely about the time I would actually have to attack.
Yeah.
Like throughout the day, um, really busy, and I thought maybe at that point I might try to push up. Um, but this month I have not touched my base barely at all because of that event.
The
Which
heroes. Yeah.
thank you, Supercell. I mean, when you really think about this event and having been able to keep heroes down for the first time ever, while warring has been amazing because I've been able to in that time make huge progress that it would have taken me months to do.
Mhm.
So, thank you for that, Supercell.
And one of the benefits that you have is that the Grand Warden uses pink elixir while the other heroes use dark
Mhm.
elixir. So that way you can kind of split your time and your focus. So my curiosity is, if Supercell decided to add a fifth hero to the game, would it use a new currency? So right now, as we said, Grand Warden uses pink elixir, King, Queen, and RC use dark elixir. What if they introduced another hero that used a completely different currency? Or what if it used a currency that we already have in game, like ore? Like, what if you
Oh
upgraded
my
the next
god.
hero with ore?
Everybody would crap their pants.
Well, what if they, at the same time, they introduced ways to gain a ton more ore at the same time? Like, they introduced
The
the
miner.
ore miner, the
Yeah.
master miner at the same
Well,
time.
let's talk about this because let's give a little background because you did a video on this
Mhm.
this past week, um, and because we know that Supercell is at one point, as you mentioned in your video, going to introduce a fifth hero.
Yeah, so they had an AMA where they did say, "Yes, we will eventually introduce more," and they didn't say a 5th hero, they said more heroes with an
Oh,
S. So that was their wording. Now granted
right when I get done. I can tell you exactly when it's gonna be. Soon as I get max my heroes.
that's the moment that they add a new one, it's so
Yep.
funny. "You
Yep.
think you're done, Scotty
Yeah.
827?
Oh,
Take
no.
this,
No.
smash."
I'm a curse to all the listeners out there, believe me.
But it makes sense because with heroes comes hero equipment, and hero equipment is pretty much where they've adjusted their revenue stream, which is the reason why they're letting us use heroes while they're upgrading because the hero equipment revenue stream has been really strong. So they're like, okay, if this is the route that we're going to go, A, we have to continue introducing hero equipment. And B, along this revenue line, it makes sense to introduce more heroes because with each hero, we have currently 5 to 6 pieces of hero equipment. So with each new hero, that's 5 to 6 additional pieces of hero equipment, which means that
Hmm.
that's more things for us to spend money on, which again keeps the game alive, allows them to introduce new heroes, new equipment, more ideas. So I really think that the heroes, as in plural, that they're going to be introducing makes sense. But interestingly enough, that AMA that they had, they've since deleted it. So for some reason, Supercell went in and deleted the AMA. So I mean, I'm glad I got screenshots because I'm able to show what was said. But I
Yeah.
don't know why they would delete the AMA that said that they were going to be introducing more heroes. I don't. I mean, they didn't say when and they didn't say what, and it's common sense that they would most likely introduce something additional hero wise in the game. So I don't understand why they did, but for whatever reason they did.
I wonder if it'd have to be like a Town Hall 17 or like a Town Hall 16, like a later Town Hall troop.
Probably. I mean, I would say that it would come at Town Hall 17. Like if they're going to introduce a new hero, it'll come whenever Town Hall 17 comes, which, I mean, we talked about some ideas. Did you have any ideas that I didn't necessarily mention in the video? Or did you want to talk about any of the ideas that I did present in the video?
Well, you had the Goblin King.
Which that's been talked about since the olden days, right? I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about that from like Town Hall 10,
And so what would the Goblin King be? It would be a big green king
right?
that targeted just the loot storages
I don't
or
know. That
loot.
was my question. Like, would it target like loot first? Would it target storages first? And since the town hall is a storage, does that mean that it would target the town hall? Would it be invisible? So we know that sneaky goblins, for example, are invisible for the first 5 seconds. So does that mean if
Oh,
they did introduce a goblin king, would it mimic the sneaky goblin's capabilities and be invisible for the first 10 seconds? Or could, for example, I introduced the idea of the assassin as a hero. Why not combine the assassin abilities with the Goblin King abilities and make the Goblin like you can pick one storage producing building on the base, and the Goblin King will go to you pick it before the attack.
oh,
And then the Goblin King will go directly to that storage, whether that's the town hall or the CC is actually considered a storage unit as well, invisible until he starts attacking. So the moment that the Goblin King starts attacking, he becomes visible to defenses around it. But of course, you can use invis spells to keep him invisible. And it might be, I mean, a really OP way just to do a quick town hall takedown. I don't know.
wow. That would be a really cool way to change things up a little bit where you
hmm
could start off an attack with like a big move like that.
It would also free up siege machine options, because currently a lot of players will use the blimp, like a Yeti blimp or an all loon blimp, in order to do the town hall takedown. Well, if the town hall's down out of the way towards the beginning, well then you could use a siege machine elsewhere on the base. Now, obviously, if the Goblin King could do something like this, it would have to be balanced. Because if the town hall's in the very center and it could literally just try,
Yeah.
all the way to the town hall, and then you could just invis it a couple times and do a town hall takedown. But that, to me, that's probably a little OP. So,
Yeah, I
maybe
suppose.
it can only get, I don't know, like half the way to the town hall before you have to start using invis spells to get it the whole way to the town hall. That way you're going to have to invest 3 or 4 invis spells in order for the Goblin King to take it down. But I mean, I think it would be pretty cool, something like that. And that's something that's been suggested for a long time. Like, this is nothing new. And then also, like, me and you, we Scotty 827 and Tip Dog 20 know nothing about what Supercell is actually working on. So this
Yeah.
is all just conjecture. Like, this is
Yeah.
just us
Speculating.
Clash of Clans nerds coming up with what's cool, what could be cool if they introduce something new.
Well, and you also introduced a video or a true hero that was based on was it the captain or the one that has the flare?
Oh, so I called him the director.
The director.
Yeah, so I use Boom Beach, but that specific character in Boom Beach is actually Sergeant Brick. She's an amazing hero in Boom
She's a
Beach.
brick.
You're
House.
but and that's not her power at all. But in Boom Beach, you can flare your troops to a specific section on the base. And I've always thought, well, maybe they would introduce a similar spell in Clash of Clans, but that's pretty much a direct ripoff from Boom Beach.
But
So
it
what if
makes
we
sense that
introduce
they did, because
yeah,
if they have the AI and the idea, that it works.
they already have the coding to
Yeah.
be able to do something like that. S- So why not have a hero that either A, you can direct that hero to a specific part on the base, and any troops within his aura will walk with him or her, if it's a she, will walk with her over to the area of the base that you flare her to. So it would be strategic wise, it would be important that the troops that you want to go with her to be inside the aura whenever you call her to that specific area. Or you could flip it, and whenever you press the hero ability, all of the troops that are already out would come to her. Like,
Yeah.
wherever she is on the base, she would put out this call, and every troop that's in the surrounding area would come to her position. Kind of a reinforcements, kind
They
of a
could
hero
call her
ability.
Black Holio.
Black Olio?
Just like she's like a gravitron where when her ability goes off, like all the troops start to gravitate in her direction and when her ability wears off, they go back to wherever they're at.
So,
Or you could cancel her ability. You hit it and then you could hit it one more
oh yeah,
time
that
to
works too.
remove the spell. Maybe it could be like lust. She could be a lusty.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like
Like, look at me, everybody, kind
yeah,
of a
like a
thing.
Cupid heart. Like she'd cast her love potion number 9, and all the troops start heading her way.
And then she can cancel the love potion at any time, or maybe the love
Yeah,
potion, like, you have a specific amount of time. So it's a multi-use hero power. So maybe the love potion will last 10 seconds.
yeah.
So you push it and you watch the timer go down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and you stop it at 5 because the troops are where you want it to be. And then you can reuse it again the last 5 seconds if you so choose to
That could
use
be
it
a good
again.
piece of hero equipment too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, definitely could. So something else that's in Boom Beach is Private Bullet. And basically, what Private Bullet does is when you push his ability, all of the defenses that are close to him target him and him only.
Holy
So if
crap.
you have a hero that's like that, is high hit points, maybe very low damage, but very high hit points, press the king or press the ability. Any defenses that are within range will stop shooting whatever it is that they're shooting at, Root Riders, for example, and will retarget and start targeting the hero, whoever that might be. I didn't introduce that
I
one
think
in the
we should call
hero.
that one Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer.
Everybody hates me.
That's funny.
Let's cue the self-pity right here.
The sound effect for the hero could be wah, wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah.
It just all of a sudden the hero's got a kick me sign on the back of its. I like
we're,
that one.
we're such dorks.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. Um, and then you had the assassin, right? And that was just targeting here. I can't remember exactly what that one.
So the assassin was similar to what I said about the Goblin King earlier. Could target one building that you chose before the attack started, and then the
Okay,
assassin
yeah,
would
yep.
go, or hero could go to one building or hero, and the moment that it started attacking was when it would become visible. So maybe there's a key building that you want down, like maybe it's the monolith, for example, or the eagle. And again, the moment that it starts attacking, it's going to become visible. So you got to save it, with invis spells. Or, I mean, you could use overgrowth spells where you overgrowth the defenses around it or close to it, and then sent the assassin in on that one building that's not been overgrowthed. Like
Oh,
that was an
yeah.
idea that I had. So
Do we go through all the ones that you presented?
So there was the Shield Maiden as well, and that's in Clash Mini. It's a very cool that they created a very cool graphic for her. Like she looks really badass, and her ability is she reflects damage back onto whatever's shooting her.
Oh.
So she holds this big ass shield, and whenever something shoots at her, it reflects back and hits the defense or troop or whatever it is that's attacking her. Now, granted, that wears off, so it's not an infinite ability, but I mean, for a good 10 seconds or so, like she's reflecting everything back so that she and the troops that are behind her, and that might even work really well for the private bullet idea where you press the ability and everything targets her because it targets her and she's able to reflect back a lot of that damage in the beginning whenever you press her ability.
They have a troop like that in Royale, I believe,
Hmm.
that does something similar. That would be a really cool one too. The one, and I don't know if maybe I missed it, but as I was watching it, I was thinking, we still are missing an air hero.
Right. So I did introduce an idea at the end of the video. And then also we forgot the wizard hero,
Oh yeah, yep.
which I got that idea from you, believe it or not, because I was listening to some OG episodes and that commercial came out and you and Scotty or you and Boneyard talked about it where in the commercial he says you're a hero in the commercial
Oh yeah.
and you guys were conjecturing on the possibility of Supercell introducing a wizard hero down the road. Now, I don't think that that's
I guess we
a
were
reality.
right on track with that one. We knew what was right around the corner.
But I think it would be cool if they incorporated his hair into the hero attack in some way because in the commercial his hair like poofs out
Yeah.
everywhere. So why not when you hit the ability, his hair poofs and it just does massive damage in a clustered area. Like I think that would be super cool, but unlikely to do that as well. And then the last one
The
was
blowout.
the oh yeah, perfect. And then the last one was the dark healer.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep.
Which is more likely to be a super troop, but
And
I
then it was
wasn't
with rage, right?
right. So instead of healing ability, it's raging ability, which that is more likely to be introduced as a dark troop down the road, maybe a super troop.
Maybe
So
with like a limited troop capacity to rage or something.
yeah, so very similar to the healing capacity. So right now, it only heals a small cluster of troops. Like it doesn't heal a wide radius of troops, and so the rage would be similar. But could be like a super troop option. So we know that they're going to be
Oh.
introducing more super troops down the road. So
Oh
why not make
yeah.
the healer super troop the rage or the dark healer or the rage healer?
That would be cool. Because then you
Mhm.
could throw a couple of them in there and along with your regular healer. I love those healers. I mean, they're such a huge part of the attack already that, like, it might make sense to have an air troop or air hero like that so that the air defenses are kind of always in play. I mean, I know that they are for the most part if you're using healers, but if it's all ground armies, it would be nice to have, it might make sense to do it that way.
So
Maybe.
there were a few other ideas that I had that I did not include in the video. So a few years ago, they introduced the golden dragon, and the golden dragon was just this massive, very high hit point dragon. And people were conjecturing back in the day whether or not they were going to actually introduce it in game as like a super troop to the dragon.
Huh.
So, or a super troop alternate for the
The
dragon.
golden dragon.
But it was huge. It was massive. They introduced it in. It was a special event or a special event challenge, and so I considered something like that, like a dragon or a dragon rider, like maybe a
Oh,
hero
yeah.
that rides a dragon rider. That's a hero as an idea, and then that would fit the flying troop narrative as well. And then the other idea is they also did another special event a few years ago where they had the Mega P.E.K.K.A. And
Oh.
the Mega P.E.K.K.A. could strike at air units, which is cool. It's so big, it could reach up into the sky and smack your dragons. So right now, of course, the P.E.K.K.A. can't hit air units. But that was another idea that I thought about including,
It
but
could
I
smack air units?
it could reach up and strike air units, which was super cool. And then I
Well, that's
think
cool.
when it was destroyed, it exploded, I think, very similar to the P.E.K.K.A. on the builder base.
I'd like to see how that worked. I'll have to check out a YouTube on it
And it's called
to
the
see
Mega
how
P.E.K.K.A.
the Mega P.E.K.K.A.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be a type of hero too, like a
Mhm.
big P.E.K.K.A.
And we like those big P.E.K.K.A.s, right?
We like those
The
big
bigger, the
P.E.K.K.A.s.
better.
Bigger the P.E.K.K.A., the better.
The bigger the P.E.K.K.A., the more that they can get done, the more that they can smash.
I don't know if there's any that I could think of to introduce. I mean, I like the flare one a lot. Um, just in part because I kinda do that a little bit, like, with my recall spell.
Mhm.
Like, I've been pulling it out just to get them out and then using the healers on the way through, as they kinda come through and crossing paths and, um, whatnot. So I'd like that because I think it could add some more control into
Mhm.
the very center of,
Yeah,
like.
and I don't know how OP it would be because if you think about it, if you, for example, wanted all your troops to go to a specific part of the base, and let's say that it affected all the troops, the problem is they're gonna stop attacking whatever it is that they're attacking and go to that spot, which means that they're gonna be being shot in the back, for example, by the archer tower that they were just attacking if they didn't get it down. So you could, for example, pair this new hero's ability with the Warden's Tome, their Eternal Tome. That way, they wouldn't die as they're walking back over to this spot. But I could see it strategically being useful in some cases as well. They may have to mess with the time,
Yeah.
like, it only lasts 5 seconds or so, so the troops that don't get all the way there, they just stop wherever they are and then hit the closest building. So I don't know
Or you
how
could
they would
kill the
adjust it.
ability. I like that. I mean, I think that makes a good case for it to make it not OP, is that when you activate it, they're gonna leave what they're doing, and then
Right.
I just think about the complaints that I'm gonna make about it. "Oh, I hit my love ability, my
1 second too
my
early, and it
Cupid,
left up the
my arrow."
monolith.
Yeah, and then they all pulled over here, like,
Yep.
because the timing in there. Um,
Mhm.
you had another video this week, and I wanted to talk about this too before I forget. Um, the heat because 'cause we're talking about the healers and the druid.
Right?
M My first question is it hard not to say cocaine bear? on YouTube.
Yeah. So
No, just kidding.
it's so funny. So I'm much it comes up. Like believe me, it comes up. But on YouTube, like I'm much like on the
More family
podcast, we're
friendly.
just guys. I'm but family friendly. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
Like I'm much more family friendly on YouTube. So I don't say Cocaine Bear. Oh, what other name? We came up with something else that was really funny too. Cocaine Bear and I forget, but something else that we had talked about. And I was like, I both of them came up in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I can't,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I just had to ask that because I was watching your video and I was like, I thought I saw you pause right before you said bear.
Yeah.
It was something like that, and I was like, I think he wanted to say cocaine bear
Oh, I
right
did,
there.
100%. Totally.
I thought the video was a cool breakdown of when to use a healer or when to use the cocaine bear or the druid. Uh because I do this little I kind of use them for my funnel, like a overpowered funnel because
Mhm.
I'd use 5 bowlers, try to use 3 bowlers and two druids on a corner, but I usually throw in the 5 and it'll like just tear in longer and so I can get my flame flinger in to
Mhm.
places where I couldn't. And so as I look at that, I've been wondering, I want the bears. I want the bears to spawn. But I was thinking, am I using enough druids or am I overkilling it? Um, so do you want to talk about like the difference?
Yeah, so it's typically for then this is for me. So this is 100% my opinion. Somebody else may have a different opinion, but for me, I will use healers if it's your traditional queen charge or queen walk. So typically the queen walk or queen charge is paired with Lalo or it's paired with hybrid. You can also pair it with root riders, but any attack where the queen essentially needs to stay alive the entire attack and she needs those healers. Now, granted, you can play around with this a little bit. So you could dribble in druids where you put two druids on her,
Dribbling druids.
and, and and then once they're done, you can dribble in two more druids, and then by that time you can pop her ability and have the healers pop out. So I mean, like there's lots of ways to do it, but for simplicity's sake, if we're doing a queen charge, I like to use healers. Also, for simplicity's sake, if we're using a troop that needs healing for the entire attack and we don't want to be super complicated, well then we're also going to use healers. And the two examples of that are with super bowlers and with super witches, where they're going to need that healing because they don't have
Yeah.
enough hit points to be able to last it. Now, granted, as I said, you could dribble in druids, but two druids are only going to last 30 seconds, which is what you're going to need to keep them alive. And then you got to put two more druids in and two more druids in. And as they go throughout the base, the hard part is targeting the druids that you're going to need towards the end of the attack. So if your super witches or super bowlers are in the center, but let's say that you have a funneling troop that's a wizard that's still out on the right hand side. If you put the druid down, maybe almost anywhere on the base, it's going to target that wizard rather than the super witches that are in the core. So using druids with troops like that is just more difficult. It can be done, but it's more difficult. So in those cases, I'll use a healer. Now, I will use druids if it's with troops that don't necessarily need massive healing all the way through. So root riders are pretty much the only example of this. I would say maybe P.E.K.K.A. Smash, but we haven't seen P.E.K.K.A. Smash in the meta for a couple years now. But druids will work well with root rider smash because you just got to get through the walls far enough in order for the cocaine bears and for your heroes to be able to finish up and smash the rest of the base once all the root riders die out, if that's the case. So those are the differences between when I use healers and when I use druids. And I'm not sure if you saw the attack, but there is an attack strat out there where it's 16 druids and just your heroes and funneling troops. So
Holy
you start
shit.
out with like the warden and the fireball, or just the warden even, and take down a certain corner, and then you put in your heroes, and it's just the dribbling druids two at a time, and then they keep your heroes like to full health the whole time, and then the cocaine bears come out, and they just keep on smashing, like, over and over
Dinner
again.
time.
And the attack that I did, the first time that I did it, I was like, "Holy cow!" There were like 6 or 7 cocaine bears left with that attack,
Really?
so it's really strong. I haven't used it much, if any, at Town Hall 16, so but maybe I'll have to do that. Like, I'll just have to wait and see.
16
16
cocaine
druid.
bears,
Yeah,
druids. Wow, that would be really cool to see. I really like to do I like to use them on, like I said, for that funnel, and it makes me think as you're saying that, like, it would be great for a warden walk. Um, because usually when I put down the warden on a corner, he could be healed, but I want at a certain point, if he's gonna end up where I need him to be, um, those cocaine bears to get out there to,
mhm,
take it out. And just I think this comparison or what you mentioned in the video was it has about the same hit points as an ice golem
right?
with twice the damage,
But it was almost 3 times if
3
uh,
times.
I think it was 3 times the damages of an ice golem.
So
But
we're
the same hit points. I think the cocaine bear is 4,400 hit points, and if I remember right, max, ice golem is 41 or 4,200 hit points. So right there, but then, of course, the druid offers the heal spell, essentially, and the ice golem essentially offers the spree spell, so you just have to look and see, like, which one do you need for the attack. And something else I did wanna mention is if you're using 2 druids on a warden walk, you do have to be careful because while one
yeah.
cocaine bear won't pull the warden, 2 cocaine bears will because that's 32 troop space. So if the
Yeah.
cocaine bears go off to the left, that's 32 troop space. You put your queen down, if I remember right, heroes are only considered 25 troop space. Well, the
Yep.
warden's going to go with the cocaine bears,
Eh,
not the queen.
so if you do that and I've done this, drop your king and your queen
Yep. Then that's 50 troop
together,
space.
it'll pull the warden.
It will pull the warden.
So
Correct.
if you're tuning in, you knew the warden pull is the warden will pull towards the heaviest troop within a that's near it, right? So you've got to get it right by the aura, very close to the
Correct.
aura, if not on the aura.
Right.
But that has changed my game so much. Um, or if you're gonna, so if you kind of do what I do, I'll do the warden walk with the healers, just so I can have that out of the way. But if I do a funnel on the other side with the druids, the bowler druid, if those bowlers get taken out, and this has happened to me, uh, got to be careful that you might have to throw in a couple extra troops so that the bears don't run all the way over, or the druids go all the way over to the warden and then
Mhm.
ruin the attack on the other side because we just got a bunch of HP showing up
Mhm.
over
Y
here.
Yeah, it takes some strategy and it takes some skill to be able to use them, but it's a cool troop. It's not an OP troop, which after Root Riders is kinda nice, to be honest with you, but it's a cool addition to the game, and it's very similar in theory to the Ice Golem, where you have healing, and then you have, a troop that is a little more OP than the golem. Obviously, the cocaine bear doesn't do anything other than a regular troop. It just smashes after it comes out. But it's a cool balance, and I really like the troop, and I also like the fact that it's not completely overpowered.
Yeah. And I noticed, so good cop, bad cop, GCBC, as we call them here, on the podcast. And other people do too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Uh, um, he's been sharing these attacks, and I'm gonna use his attack uh soon because I'm leveling up my my nerf herders, my root riders right now. Uh, but he's been using the cocaine bears with the Velks. Or yeah, the druids with Velks for a funnel. And what I noticed about them is they seem to be really good for matching the speed of the
Oh yeah,
Velks.
they are faster. That's a good point, and I
And
I didn't make that point.
so when the cocaine bears pop out, they're right along with the Velks in their running.
Mm.
So I was looking at his attack going, well, I wonder if I can't get the same thing out of, bowlers down this side, or, could I cut off a little bit here or there? Um, I was like, that speed, that's something I had not noticed or thought about.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
because Vax are super fast. That is something to consider.
It was, yeah, and it was nice to see, because with the funnel, usually what's happening is like if I was trying healers on Velks and stuff, and they were just getting ahead of them too fast. And so they'd have to slow down, and those druids stay right there with the Velks.
I haven't tried that, but I mean, that's definitely something I'll have to consider. I've been moving between armies, so I love right now. I love Warden's Fireball Super Witches. Like I love, love, love it. But the
It's
problem
still
is,
working?
and that's the problem. The problem is, it only works on bases where the pathing is very clear after you use the fireball. So if it's a really spread out base, or if another type of base that it doesn't work really well on, or when everything is centralized. So if you have a really toxic core with the monolith and the eagle and you know multi archer towers and like all Ricos, like all of that in the middle,
Yeah.
and you don't have a way to get there with a fireball effectively, then the super witch fireball attack, it's not going to work because the super witches can't handle all of that DPS coming at them all at once. And so it works really well on the right base. But I've been trying to find a second army that I can use if I don't have any options, for instance, in Clan War, or an army that's a little more flexible for running across the different types of bases that I come across in Legend League. And I've had trouble coming up with a second army. So maybe I'll look at Valkyries and Druids and see if that's something that I want to use.
Well, he'll do Velks and druids, and then he'll use and root riders, and then I think it was two electro titans
Hmm.
down one side to funnel. Can't remember exactly. But I just need a little bit more troop space.
Well, you're getting there. I mean, your Town Hall 15, you can start using all these troops doing these attacks.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited about it. And you know what I'm loving is I'm loving the rocket spear. Have you heard
I
anything
have
about
it.
it?
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't know. Sorry.
no, that's all right.
I thought you were gonna say something else. I was
No,
like, he's like, I love the rocket spear, and I thought you were gonna go into
no, sorry.
why.
I just looked at
But
my list as I was.
no, I mean, I'm not seeing it used a lot. There was a period of time there where the rocket spear was good with a hero dive, where you could use the rocket spear to keep the RC out of harm's way for the most part, while you got a few defenses down, like maybe a ricochet cannon, maybe a multi archer tower, and then once the rockets ran out, well, then that's when you released your king and your queen in order to take out a section of the base. And maybe you use druids on your king and your queen, for example, in order to do that hero dive more effectively. But then that kind of like went by the wayside, and I don't see a lot of people that are using it. But what do you love about it?
I love everything about it. No, I love it's kind of like a move, bitch, get out the way
Hmm.
ability. And so I even got the haste file.
Uh
I
huh.
haven't even barely used it because I like the RC to not be up in everything. So I get the RC like, it's coming in from maybe from the side, right?
Hmm.
Um, wherever wherever I hit that ability, she stops. The hogs go out, and she basically kind of blows out as much as she can around her, but it gives her time and buys time there for her to either heal up, or to clear out more defenses. Um, or like I can hit it if I'm in trouble, like preemptively for the hogs, but use it to take out more things closer to the heroes to steer them. Like, so, she comes in, let's say she comes in from the right and they're going up, or she comes in from the left and they're going up the center. I can take her in and she might not be where I need her to be, but if I hit that, I can take out more of a chunk, I should say, of like defenses and stuff and hopefully steer them the opposite way versus having her get in there because then she's got a little bit more time too, if that makes sense.
Are you keeping the unicorn on her in order to get her healed up?
No, just Diggy, but like most of the, but she's taken out of that core, right? Like when her ability wears off, the hogs are ahead of her, um, absorbing stuff. And as the hogs usually get there, she's already taken like a hit or two on whatever it is. So it clears it out quicker around. And so from then the healers, might cross paths or I could recall her. But
Mm.
when she's done, there's more time usually where my other troops have hit some of the defenses and are going to absorb some of the stuff. So she's lasting a lot longer.
It's interesting. So I know that the rocket spear uh, offers the highest DPS jump. So she does the most damage as a passive ability with the rocket spear. So I mean that's definitely a benefit. But I haven't my rocket spear still. I think I got it to level 3 or something to get rid of some shiny ore. But like I haven't had a chance to use it, and I haven't seen anybody really using it that much. So I just that could be a way to use it. And I guess we could see if that develops in the
I'll have to
meta, but I
sh-
haven't seen a lot of it
I'll have to
yet.
share some of my replays because I've been using it now for a couple weeks. Um,
What's your
especially
rocket spear at? Like what level?
I just got it to 16,
Okay.
so I'll take it up to 18, I think,
Hmm.
and then I'll go back to my gauntlet and from there. But I don't I don't for me, just with, I guess, the way I like to hit and kinda how I'm using the RC, it's like I can get her in there, and I guess one other benefit is if I'm running short on time or if I've underestimated, I can get her, um I can hit the ability early, when she's farther back
Mm.
than before. But maybe
Does
the
she,
haste vial would do the same thing, I don't know.
so because she stands back further to hit those defenses that you're targeting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or like, let's say there's a monolith, right? And my heroes missed it, and so I send her a little bit later in the attack. Well, if my king is getting pounded and it's getting close, I can hit her ability like a second or two earlier from where she's running and have her target that um monolith, for example. I
So
can
I'd
hit her.
heard. Go
Oh,
ahead. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
No, 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 you're right. Or if
So
I can also hit it before it hits like outside of the range of the monolith. It will, the hogs will release, the monolith will hit the hogs, and as soon as she's within range, then she'll hit with her big spear, with her shots.
So I had heard that if you paired the haste vial with the rocket spear, and I haven't tested this myself, but I heard that because the haste is so fast that she actually wastes a shot because she's throwing it so fast. I don't know if that's true because
Oh.
I haven't tested it myself, but that would be something to look out for. That if the haste vial, for instance, if it takes I don't know how many hits it takes to take down a monolith. Let's say it takes 3 hits. So she throws 3 spears, the monolith is destroyed, and she still throws the 4th spear, even though the monolith is already down, essentially
Oh,
wasting one of those 8 shots.
yeah, I could see that. But it brings up the question, and I think this is my observation, I hadn't really thought about it. If I hit that hog ability, right, or I hit the RC's ability early, those 8 shots still stay with her, or the 6 shots or whatever of the rocket spear. So, I can hit that ability, the hogs run ahead, and even if she's not within range for another 5 seconds, you know, the ability, whatever wears it's just those next shots. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
I can send the hogs ahead to get something if something else is in trouble, and I'm not gonna waste any shots no matter what because the next defenses that she comes up to, she's gonna take those from further back.
Yeah, she keeps the shots in her pocket, and they
Yeah,
explode
and I've
whenever they're ready. She's ready to use them.
she's good. The hogs and rocket pockets. Hog rocket
Hog
pocket.
rocket pocket.
Yeah. It
An
it's
explosive combo.
well, I just noticed that I've been using her a lot of the times to rescue my other heroes from a monolith.
Mm,
Maybe miss by a spell tower because now I'm hitting 15s and like with the
right?
invisibility or whatever, or I'm hitting 16s and something happens, and then that monolith is just standing, but I've got my heroes kind of on the outside, just in the corner of range getting hit. And if I haven't, and sometimes this will usually happen within like the first minute and a half of the attack, right about the time I'm going to send her in, anyways. And so I'll
Mhm,
just send her in from the back from wherever they've got and hit the hogs to get the hogs in there as fast as possible so they take the damage away from other heroes.
mm. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't used it like that, but I'd be interested in seeing your attacks to see if that's something that might be worth looking into.
I don't show anybody my attacks. No, I'm just kidding. What else did you want to talk about?
I didn't have anything on my plate that I was we talked about the 2 videos already, so
We
I
talked
have
to,
some interesting videos coming up. Like,
oh
I'm working
yeah.
on a couple others, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, a little preview.
Mm, so I'm working on well, I forgot what. I'm working on one. It's on my phone, and I left my phone downstairs
Oh, see.
somewhere. What was it? I can't hold on. Let me see if I can pull it. I have my iPad with me. Let me see if I can pull it up on my iPad. I started writing a script. Oh, so next video is going to be when do you push the button to the next town hall? Like what do you need to have finished
Oh,
in
okay.
order to push the button to the next town hall? And then let's see. So I have a list. So it's so funny. I have a list, and on this list, I have oh, holy cow, it's a lot longer. I have 109 ideas of videos that I
Really?
can do. Yeah. So anytime I come up with an idea for a video, I
88
just
of them are cat videos.
I
No.
I put it on this list. So for instance, one of my most recent ideas was strategic rushing a dono account. So if you
A
want an
what?
account, a dono account, so a donation account.
Oh, okay.
So if you just want an account to be able
Learning
to
the
donate to
lingo.
yourself, then like how would you strategic rush that up to Town Hall 16? I wanted to do a video on the most underrated troop in Clash of Clans, which is the Super Barbarian. Uh, so I have a lot of
Oh,
ideas.
I
I have a
didn't even
lot of
know that
ideas
existed.
of
Oh, I'm
stuff,
just kidding.
but I didn't realize I've not looked at the entire list, and some of these are really old. Like one of these is hitting up for 2 stars. When to use haste spells versus rage spells in Lalo. How to deal with clash burnout. Uh, oh, some of these I've already done too. Anyway, but yeah, 108 different ideas. I just gotta pick it and go with it, and then write the script on it, and then record. So I record myself in the video, and I script that out, but then I also do that like I ad lib that, like I write the script, but I don't read from the script whenever I'm on camera. I just kind of ad lib it, and then I have the scripted part, which I actually just read the script on the parts where I'm not on camera,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I have to pick the video content that I want to use for the parts that I'm reading that I'm scripted. So it takes a while to do, and I just have to find time. And like last week, I barely had enough time. I did one short, and then I did one video. Uh, which my short was interesting. I actually spotlighted you in my short, believe it or not.
Oh, I didn't see the short.
So the short was you can tell exactly when somebody has been online in Clash of Clans.
Oh, really?
So you of course have the
That was actually a
played
question.
recently, by the Supercell gives
Yeah.
co-leaders and leaders, or you can say played 3 days ago. Like you can see that, but there's a way. that you can literally see that Scotty 827 was online 2.2 hours ago, for example.
Oh, really?
And you do that by going to the person's base, clicking on any one collector, whether that be the DE drill or the elixir pump or the gold mine. Click on it, and then you have the capacity, which is how much has been collected since they last logged off. And then you look at how much that collector can collect per hour, and you divide the
Oh.
capacity by the amount collectible per hour to see exactly how long they've been offline and when the last time they was online. So I did that to your base, and I said Scotty 827 was online 2.96 hours ago or something like
Oh,
that. It was
really?
funny, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I remember in the days we'd look at, oh, the collectors are empty or not, but it never did the math on that.
Yeah, but you can see exactly when.
We
You just
all
have to do the math. You have to run the numbers.
And I would suggest too, GCBC suggested to us for our Discord the Clash perk, right? Is
That
it?
has been really cool, which I wanna shout out GCBC for adding all those bots and taking care of that. Like, that's been
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you very much. That's a really cool little add-on to Discord that you connect with Clash of Clans, and there's all these different pieces of information that you can get from it, right?
Mhm,
Um, when people you can have it alert you when people opt in and out of war. Um, the cool one is you can do the player profile, which basically gives you all the stats of the player.
mhm.
Um, GCBC set up one that has the Legend League gains and losses for the day. It's like kind of like the top 5, isn't it?
I think so. Like, I haven't used it a lot, but I've seen Clash Perk in other clans that I've been in, and, it's a cool tool. I don't really use it a lot. If you're screening, so it really comes in handy whenever you're screening new players, which with House of L, basically, if you give the password a fits, like you're in the clan no matter what level you are, because we know you're a fan of the podcast and we want you to be able to war with us.
Yeah. So if
But
you
if
if you request, just say something about the podcast so we know it's not just anybody.
some random person that's
Yeah.
deciding to join, yeah. But it's really nice for clans maybe who maybe they're an all Town Hall 16 clan, for example, and they want to see like how you've been doing, in your war attacks and in Legend League, and if you have all of your troops leveled up, if you're rushed at all, like stuff like that. It's a pretty cool tool to use for.
Yeah, and like Moo went up, Moo Killer went up to Town Hall
Yep.
15 and it said Moo Killer went to Town Hall 15 with 3.93% left to upgrade or
Yeah.
something like that. Um, it also broke down the top 5 l clan members that had the most DE,
Mm-hmm.
most, uh the most elixir. You were the top on that one.
Oh,
When I
nice.
looked, I don't know if
Yay.
it was for the week or for the day, but I thought that would be a really fun way to do some contests in a
Oh
clan
yeah.
too, to be like, "All right, let's see who the biggest collector, of the week or the month is," to be able to do stuff like that. Uh, be able to see your kinda own stats, so I'd highly recommend that.
Yeah, and we might have to, if we start doing some of these competitions or these fun, friendly wars or something, we might have to give out some gold passes because Supercell now makes it pretty easy to be able to give a player a gold pass.
Oh, really?
So we'll have to look into that and see if that's something that we want to do with the COC podcast.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that from the old days. There's nothing like that to do.
Yeah. And for the longest time, they wouldn't allow US players to do it for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure that there's a way to do it
Oh,
now where you can buy a gold pass and then give it to somebody if you want.
probably from the website.
Yeah, and it's in the Supercell store.
The Supercell store again, if you haven't, I would check that out. I don't make any money from it or anything like that. There are just some really good deals over there,
Mhm.
that are outside the game, uh, that I'd highly recommend. Well, I this week I got my second army camp going. I'm gonna keep going with it. I got my eagle up.
Mhm.
I hammered that thing.
Mhm.
I've not touched my monolith. I have not touched my spell towers.
Have you put it down yet?
No.
I would at least put it down before CWL because even if it's upgrading, the moment that you put it down, it's available.
It's Dark Elixir. I'm
Yeah, that too.
trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. It's a lot of Dark Elixir too to
My
put down
pet
the monolith.
research has been it's not happening. I can't get my monolith on the board. It's all going to hell. No.
Yeah, and the
I,
spell towers too are super valuable because that gives you the rage spell, which increases damage by 60%. So if
yeah.
you can get those down as well, like that would be super helpful in CWL.
Of in under normal circumstances, I would have probably done an upgrade. My upgrade path would be a lot different, right? But
Right?
with the hero event,
Yeah, that's true.
and I wasn't going to push the button on to 15 until the end of this month, but the hero event. So, because I wanted to get my warden up
Mhm.
to 60 and he was at 55 and he would have just sat. So I kind of figured this month is just me being a baby TH 15. And then here was my question. Because at the end of the month with the hero upgrades, then I can kick it into high gear just on
Mhm.
defenses. Because after this, I'm only going to do books of heroes.
Yeah.
So I
I
won't have that one constant upgrade. Um, how will the event end? Will heroes that are upgrading be able to be used? Have you heard anything about this?
I haven't, but I imagine if you have heroes upgrading on the 1st, you just won't be able to use them on August 1st. Which will have to be
Okay.
considered because, going into CWL, we want our heroes up.
Yeah. And
So
that's
we'll
why
have to get them done before, August 2nd or 3rd rolls around and our first war is up.
so I'm thinking this will probably be my last RC round, my last queen round to fully put them down. And then I can probably use a book of heroes. Well, have to use a book of heroes or two before the
Yeah,
end. But I should be able to then put down the monolith before CWL starts.
that works.
And I'll have my druids up too. So I hammered my healers done because I was like, I gotta have those things.
Yeah, and Super Bowlers still work at Town Hall 15 on the right base, but one of the and this is one of the difficulties with going up is the further up you go in town halls, the more difficult it gets to attack, and a lot of 3 stars at higher levels are because you have an attack strategy that works on that base.
Yeah, that's my super bowlers have been working really pretty well still.
Good.
And I was doing the root rider attacks, but I thought I got to get them up a level. I need that extra benefit.
Mhm.
And so I'll just keep with my it because I just need to practice that root rider a lot, right? And so I just want to do it when they're at level 2. Um, but I started using the super bowlers and some of those bases, especially when they're tight closed bases, which I'm seeing a lot of 15s and 16s,
Mhm.
and I'll hit the 16s and do really well against 16s if they're very densely packed.
Right?
Um, so I don't know. In some ways I think that's a really good strategy. Um, but I noticed that there are just certain bases I'm just not able to really crack. Like I was practicing for one in our war yesterday. I saw it. There was one base I was gonna hit, and I was looking for it out in the wild, and I came back to and I hit it twice or 3 times out in the wild, and I just cannot crack it with that army. It's got a real centered base,
Mhm. Yep.
widespread.
That's where you need to look into doing a Super Archer blimp or maybe a Super Wizard blimp, a Blizzard.
Yeah, I've noticed I hear your voice in my head a lot as I'm, hi farming and hitting these bases, especially as we get into war. I'm like, I need to have another, attack that's gonna be able to hit the bases that I can't hit with the other one,
Mhm.
um,
And that's what I'm
for
struggling
now.
with right now at Town Hall 16, for example.
Well, I just wondered, like, because you were saying that earlier about like a different army, and I almost suggested Super Bowlers to try in a Super Bowler attack at 16, only because of the buff that they all got. And so I I think like I'm having more luck at Town Hall 15 with bowlers than I would have 2 months ago. You know what
right?
I'm saying? Like they hefted them up a little bit. So maybe that's, I don't know, maybe there's something in there because I know you know that attack pretty well.
The the Super Bowler attack?
Yeah.
You cut out there for a second.
Oh, sorry. I just said maybe that's something you'd want to try up at a higher level now that it is a more buffed troop.
Super Bowlers, there's so that's it's a solid troop, but it's very similar to the Super Witch attack. And the benefit of having Super Witches over Super Bowlers is the big boys. So the big boys shield the Super Witches from a lot of the incoming damage. And the problem with
The
why is
big
that funny?
boys.
Yeah, that's what they're
Uh,
called. That's literally what they're called, the big boys.
okay.
So they're just these big skeletons that come out of
I
the Super
love
Witches.
Supercell's naming.
Yeah,
You
and
dead
this
on.
also the Super Bowlers are a little more difficult to manage, to steer because of those third bounces. And so I it's very similar to the Super Witch attack. So I don't know. I was running dragons for a little while. I mean, I had moderate success with that. I tried running Lalo yesterday in Legend League, and I just completely failed. I massive fail. I had a couple 1 stars in Legend League. I'm like, "Nah, I can't run Lalo." And that's why, like, I'll run Lalo a lot, Town Hall 15 and below, but man, Town Hall 16, it just takes that extra or I need to be able to see the base and look at it for longer than 30 seconds
Oh.
to figure out how to hit it with Lalo. I just can't, whether it's because I'm an old fart or because I'm just not good enough. Like, I can't look at the base for 30 seconds and develop a plan to hit it that quickly to be able to use Lalo. I don't
Huh.
know. We'll see. I'll keep struggling with it. Maybe I'll have something to report back next week.
Yeah. We'll report back next week, and hopefully with a special guest.
Yes.
I
Yeah. Special guest
believe.
next week. Super excited about that.
Me too. Me too. Well, shout outs this week.
I did want to shout out Swim Boy for popping by, giving us
Yeah,
some
I was going to shout him out too.
capital gold. That was super nice of him. So
Great.
thank you so much, Swim Boy. Appreciate that. And looking forward, he said maybe eventually he could come over and do some wars with us. So
Yeah, I
looking forward to
think
that as well.
he's coming over for clan games, I think.
Oh, that's right. That's what he said.
I'll shout out oh, there he is right there. Just joined. Tremek, who just
Oh, that's
joined.
right. Yeah,
Joined
just
back. It was
stop
good
by.
to
That's
see him
cool.
after so long. Awesome pie guy. I don't know if I gave him a shout out yet, who had joined L. Let's see here. And I'm forgetting people. Spaceman, I think I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that he came back. That was really awesome to see. Chewy for NGC for all the work they do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, always the listener.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
get a hold of us, Clash Clans Podcast at gmail. Okay, here we go. Let me try this again. In the radio studio. It's just like the introduction. Uh, get a hold of us. Get a hold of us at Clash Clans Podcast at gmail.com. You can call or text 320-216-2073. That's 320-216-2073. Or Clash Clans Podcast, gmail.com. Or watch Tip on Clash Tips on YouTube and the Clash Tips podcast. Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. I think we've mentioned it all.
All right. Until next week for a very special episode. Keep it clashy, everybody.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep boop beep boop skilly boop.